Hi, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. As Victor says, everywhere, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to my channel. My name is Jasmina from Jasmina Brozovic Astrology. And I'm honored today to have Mayra with me. It's such a small world, especially astrology world, that we met through Astro Victor. And then we realized that we both know Steve Judd. And it was such a great connection to meet at such a great level. Welcome, Myra. How are you today?
Hi, Jasmina. Thank you for inviting me. Thanks for for this collaboration. Doing very good. I'm very happy to be here with you and with your
Ah,
audience. So thank you.
excellent. So before I give Myra the main world, I have her here today because she's an expert on business and vocational astrology. She's also a designer. You need to check all her websites. All the links are below in the description. She just does amazing job. That's how she knows all these astrologers as well because she does work for them. So, but not just for astrologers, but for everybody. So it's such a pleasure to have you that you find time to be here today with me.
Oh.
First, before we start, just explain people what does vocational astrology mean? What is the difference between the business or vocation and maybe finance? Just a short list, because people always put everything together in one box.
Yeah. People can get confused with these three, no? But the vocational astrology is more related to career kind of astrology. It helps us to understand what is our role in the social context, and it's also to find what really inspires you. What are you here to share with the world? Not only with your niche or your family, but it is about aligning your soul's purpose with your professional path. So I think it's very interesting because once you find what you're meant to be doing, it brings a lot of fulfillment, and then your work aligns with your soul purpose. So I think it's an amazing branch of astrology, and it goes beyond what you're good at. It reveals what you're meant to serve through your work. Basically, this is the vocational astrology. Then you have the business astrology, which is about reading the company's chart or your own business chart and see it also like what is your role as an entrepreneur. It's a like different perspective, but I love vocational because it's really about aligning the professional, the soul's purpose, and then what you want to share with the world. So
Yeah.
basically.
Yes, I like that. So this is actually, some when we are kids, we somehow sometimes know what we want to do when we grow up, right? But then circumstances and then maybe parents' choices kind of put you in the other direction. So this is maybe something that you have within you that you may be afraid to even admit sometimes, or you're afraid to pursue. So where do you see that in a chart?
Where do I see the vocation and this stuff?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, many people relate the vocational astrology with a point in the chart that is called the midheaven, which is important because this is the top of the chart and it's basically how you shine, in the outside world. For example, just to give you a brief example, someone with a midheaven in the sign of Sagittarius won't feel wouldn't feel fulfilled in a job that lacks growth or meaning or freedom. They need this in order to actually shine their true selves and share with the world. So they need a sense of expansion, whether that's through traveling or maybe teaching or publishing or inspiring others. So the sign in the MC will give you a lot of hints about what you're supposed to be doing vocationally. But we also have other points in the chart. I mean, we can go as deep as we want, but the MC it's a very good point to start with. Then I will recommend to go to look at the sign of the MC and the ruler of the planet that is ruling that sign, because this planet will be also very
Mm,
important. So
yes.
basically, the midheaven is like the public destiny kind of thing. It shows how we're meant to be seen by the world, and it represents our calling, not just our career. This is the midheaven.
Mm,
So this is
I like
a
that.
good starting point. Which
I like
which sign do you have in your midheaven?
Gemini, ruled by
Okay.
Gemini, by Mercury in Gemini. This is, that's maybe why I talk all the time, online or offline.
So yeah, basically communicating it brings you fulfillment, it makes you happy, you shine easily with ease, by communicating with others, interviewing other people, which is
Yes.
exactly what you're doing, and share it in the social networks. No, so I think this is a great example of how vocational astrology
Oh,
can be so powerful to
thank
find
you.
our ideal job. Mhm.
Thank you. Yes. Before we go on, just want to say hi to Priscilla Carvalho.
Priscilla, oh
Hi,
Priscilla,
Priscilla.
she's
That's,
here.
that's probably your friend. Yes, this is
She
well,
was in
welcome.
the conference with Steve.
Oh,
Yeah, she
nice.
was here.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you for joining us today. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but it's interesting, now that you mentioned, many people, like sometimes, like you said, in my Gemini, yes, but I finished accounting. So I'm an accountant, which, okay, my Virgo rising, I understand, but I was never happy doing it. Like I'm good at it. I can spot it. I can, do the numbers, but am I enjoying it? No. Every time I see a tax return, it just, I know how to do it, but I don't want to do it. So that's the difference, right? Between maybe your job and your vocation. Well,
Yeah, but it's very interesting that you brought up the ascendant, the rising sign, because
mhm.
I think it was Astro Victor or Frank Clifford or both, and they were saying that you need to match your midheaven with your rising sign, because the
Mm,
midheaven is like God's call, but your rising sign is what Jasmina really wants or what she's very good at. Maybe she
mm,
doesn't find fulfillment with the rising sign, like I'm a Taurus rising, and I don't consider
uh-huh.
myself to Taurus, and I have the midheaven in Aquarius, which is more like what
Yeah.
suits me in a way. But maybe the Taurus will be telling me, okay, you need to do this job adjusting to your
Mm,
rising sign so they are not like
mm.
fighting each other, I know, kind
But
of
but I
thing.
can see it together because your rising sign Taurus puts beauty, which is Taurus Venus related, into
Oh.
the web design. Yes, in the technology, you make technology beautiful, like, or using technology
Oh,
to make things beautiful. That's definitely, so. There's a connection. I
yes,
Yeah. I
it
mean,
is
even in my
important. Yeah.
yeah, even in my astrology, like my ability to see patterns, like Virgo, and that's what helps me in astrology. For example, my rising sign. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a
Oh.
great thing to take into account the combinations. I think there are like 36
Mm,
combinations with midheaven and ascendant. And these two also can give you hints as to how to find your calling, a true calling, not just like you were saying, I like accounting, it comes with ease, but I don't really enjoy it, you know?
no.
So you need to look at those two signs in a way, because maybe you can be an accounting for astrologers, for example, or something that we need to add that MC kind of like midheaven part to make it more like
Mm,
magic for you. So
yes,
that's how I see
yes.
it in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Yes. Oh, Priscilla also has Gemini midheaven.
Oh, there you
Woohoo!
go.
So you're next on my channel. Then we have to talk now. Yes, I think Frank Clifford has
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
book on Midheaven about these 36 combinations. I just want to give him credit for that. His books are
Yes, yes.
brilliant because they're very simple to read, but they have so much information and examples. And I love that his books with so many examples you can understand
Many
everything. So
many charts, many
yes,
chart examples is the best way to learn, no, and to actually
yes.
digest how these signatures play
Yeah,
out
yeah,
in the
yeah.
chart.
So I
Mhm.
have to ask you another layer
Yeah.
because we are talking about layers. So a midheaven ascendant, that's important. But what about the sixth house or the nodes? Because they're also kind of purpose related. What do you
Yeah.
feel about that?
So when we are trying to figure out our calling or our vocation, I always advise other people. This is just my humble suggestion and opinion to obviously look at the MC and the rising sign. I mean, and then we have also the nodes, because this is the soul's purpose, right? So the nodes also I will take into account in order to make that like a complete frame of what ideally I should be doing vocationally. I would also take into account the North Node especially, and the South Node, in the sense that the South Node talks about past talents,
Mhm.
or talents that if you believe in past lives, maybe you got some talents that you can implement
Mhm.
in this life in order to get faster to your midheaven kind of calling. But for example, the North Node, which I actually make
Mhm.
some notes, shows the path of evolution and purpose at a soul
Mhm.
level. And in the beginning, it can be uncomfortable at first. Like I have also the Taurus, the North Node with rising sign, and I didn't feel Taurus at all. Like, what is this about enjoying food? I don't even like to eat, like. eh, like with time, I realized, oh yeah, I like a good
Uh,
wine, a good conversation. For me, that's it. So it develops with
Mhm.
life, and it's essential for fulfillment. So in vocational terms, it reveals the energy and the roles we're meant to grow into. For example, where is your North
So
Node, for
it's in
example? Just
Libra in the first house in the quadrant system. In the whole sign, it's in the second house. So, but it's in Libra. So that's
so
why I
the
started it.
yeah.
Yeah,
How do
that's
you
why I
feel it?
started these collaborations. When I opened my Instagram, my astrology business, I started right away with collaborating. I thought, this is the way to go. I just want to embrace my North Node because I'm very independent. Like by my South Node, you can see my South Node in Aries. Like I'm very independent. I want to do everything by myself. I want to do it fast. Like I'm like, but then okay, stop, especially with Gemini, like combination with that, very impatient, very quick. So conversing with others gives me opportunity to listen, to slow down as well, and that's I wanted to embrace that. Yeah. So
Yeah, and to find the balance, maybe also. No, Libra is here to find
ooh,
balance, to analyze different points of
yeah.
views, and to also, enjoy a little bit also the beautiful things in the day to day. So maybe, yeah, I mean, what you're doing is precisely putting all these points together, and trying to bring us these amazing interviews and
Oh,
these
thank
amazing
you. Yeah,
conversations.
I'm really truly enjoying them. I when I started this, I said I combined my three loves: astrology, talking, and connecting with others, and that's it. My three big loves. Yeah,
Yeah, this is the way,
I like
so
that.
we have the
Okay.
midheaven, we have the rising sign, and we have also the
Hmm.
north node, which is the soul's purpose. And I would also advise people to take a look to the ruler of the midheaven,
Hmm.
because this planet shows how you will reach your professional purpose.
Hmm.
So the house and aspects of this, the ruler of the midheaven, will describe like the environment energy you bring. For example, midheaven in Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, right? So if Saturn is in the third house of
Hmm.
Gemini originally, the path might involve writing or teaching or like a local leadership structure,
Mm.
no, for example. So where is your Mercury
It's
in
in the
Gemini?
ninth house in the quadrant system. In the whole sign, it's in the 10th. So it's
Uh-huh.
9 or 10th. I can see it in my
Okay.
ninth because I love travel and connecting with foreigners and other people and just philosophize. I can understand Sagittarius energy and this ninth house. I feel it. So yeah.
Exactly. And maybe you're teaching others through these interviews as well, but you don't know it. We are teaching them about, I don't know, things in their charts by just basically talking about how it plays out for
Mm,
you, which is what you were basically just did. Tell us how it has
mm.
played in a real life
Yeah,
scenario.
but it's interesting. I
So,
definitely value integrity, which is a 10 house point. Like that's very important for me. Integrity is number one for me,
mhm,
and
mhm.
I feel that whatever you do in life, you have to have that. It's not something that nobody can take it away from you. It's one of those things. Your knowledge and your integrity. That's how I feel. Like it kind of I don't know. It's for that. So that's like a very 10 house. Like especially
Yeah, exactly. I think maybe it's worth mentioning to maybe people that are a little bit more advanced that your midheaven usually falls in the 10th house, I think in some systems, but it could also
yes,
fall in different houses depending on the
yes,
house system you're using. So I think that if you have the
in the
midheaven in the
ninth,
ninth house, but your
in the
10th
ninth.
house
Yeah,
in the ninth, but then also your 10th house, we should take a look to
yeah.
that house because that's basically the professional
Mhm.
field. So we are trying to make like a frame with like a little bit of a
Yeah, I love
recipe
it. I love it.
of how to do these things. And the 10th house is important because this is the Saturnian energy. And I want to
Yes,
talk a little
please.
bit about
Yes, please.
Saturn
Go
right
ahead.
now
Yes.
because when people think vocational astrology, just look at your midheaven
Mhm.
and just look at the element and the modality, and that's it. And I think there
Mhm.
is more to it. And Saturn sometimes is forgotten in vocational astrology. And Saturn is important because Saturn represents the work, the actual work that we're meant to master. So Saturn is a planet, of structure and discipline and the legacy. This is why, it's also the 10th house kind of energy, which is supposedly Capricorn, no? Basically originally. But it also shows where we must unbuild something lasting,
Mm.
which is Saturn. Our true life's work, and even if it's hard earned, it's going to require tough kind of like work. So Saturn is always about long-term rewards. It is not like Jupiter that brings you opportunities and things and then, sudden success and it lasted 5 minutes, right? With Saturn, we need to build things with a really stable and
Mm.
solid base. And wherever it is on your chart or transits is the area of life which needs
Uh-huh.
mastery. So this is important too. It's a this area of life in your chart, for example, where your Saturn is the area that needs more quality
Mm.
control in your life. It needs elegance, it needs improvement and full focus. So Saturn is also about the daily work, a little bit the
Mhm,
routine
yes.
also. Not like the sixth house, but it's actually the work you do on a daily basis. You're communicating right now, but before this, you had to send me an email, an invitation. You need to design the thumbnails and all this. This is Saturn, and I
Mm.
think it's important to integrate Saturn because also this is gonna be maybe the work we don't like doing, but we need it in order to go to our
Mm.
midheaven. Let's kind of call it like that. But also, interestingly, Saturn can reveal what you are
Mm.
afraid of, but it also reveals how to overcome our fears. So the sign where Saturn is in your chart will tell you, and will tell you how, and the house where. So I think in order to kind of like come up with an ideal
Mhm.
vocational kind of thing, we also need to look at Saturn because not everything is rainbows and
I
butterflies,
like
right?
that.
We also need to be
Yeah.
realistic. And for example, right now we know that Saturn is going to
Yes.
enter Aries, right? Wherever that is in your chart. And this is about independence, or if you have it there natally, it's about creative projects.
Mm.
It's about leadership, pioneering, speed, maybe, no? Being honest to yourself and then to others. And leadership doesn't mean to boss
Mm.
around because this can be a
Yeah.
like negative quality of Aries, maybe. It means to be a leadership to have a leadership that inspires others. Maybe the challenge will be related to
Yes.
patience. Maybe we want things fast. But these people that have Saturn in Aries natally are here to be their own bosses, for
Mm.
example. So, or somehow, if you work in a company, maybe you have your independence. It will be very important. And let's say if Saturn in Aries is in the 11th house, let's just put
Mhm.
an example, then long-term work in social
Mm.
innovation or community leadership or
I like.
activism. So where is your
It's in
Saturn here, Pamela?
Leo, so it's 11th or 12th, 11th or 12th
Nice.
house, but it's a very tightly conjunct with my Mars. Like
Ah,
they're 5 minutes apart. Like yes,
Saturn and Mars together. That's a really cool combo, I think, because it gives you a lot of like diligence, a lot
it,
of
it,
like
it took time.
maybe
It took time to
how.
realize that. So before my Saturn return, I just wasted my youth, to be honest. Like I didn't want to do Saturn. I just didn't. I want to have fun. I wanted to. I just that's it's in Leo still. My Mars is in Leo, right? So I just wanted to have fun, and they took me after my Saturn return, and even coming to my 40s, this the midlife crisis, all these transits really helped me to embrace Saturn, to understand it, and honestly, now that you mentioned Saturn in a quadrant system, it's going through my sixth house, so it's going to leave my sixth house because I'm a late Virgo rising, so it's everything is kind of. And what I did for the last 2.5 years,
Ah,
2 years, three. This is why I started Astro Tips every day because I wanted to embrace Saturn going through my
wow.
sixth house. Okay, like this is a routine.
Oh,
Like
that's
this is,
nice.
will he reward me now that he leaves? I don't know. We'll see. But in that sense, I just wanted to embrace him. Okay, okay, this is what you want every day. Diligently, I'm going to do this quick things. So, one of the things.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Smart.
that's you when I talk to my clients or friends or whoever, you always kind of prepare for the transit or what is happening. You kind of need to embrace it, don't fight it because it's easier.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree
So
with
that's
you.
good.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have a question. So before we continue, so Priscilla is asking, how about planets on the midheaven? Uh,
Yeah, yeah, that's a very good question because many of us have planets in the midheaven. So these planets are gonna like kind of like
mm,
color the life mission, the MC, the midheaven. So for example, I have Jupiter on the
ah,
midheaven, right? So I'm supposed to teach or share knowledge with other people or these kind of things, and this will be part of my vocational
mm,
fulfillment in a way. So I need to integrate more, like maybe that Jupiter into my the way I want to shine in the world. Now I'm hell scared of teaching. Let me tell you, I am not a spotlight person. I enjoy it at moments, but I also have Saturn in
Uh-huh.
Scorpio. So I like to be
Mhm.
backstage. I prefer to be in the daily things. Maybe I help
But
you,
that's
but I don't want to
one-on-one
be in the
mentorship.
spotlight.
Scorpio is on one-on-one, so one-on-one mentorship.
Exactly.
I think you definitely need to
Mhm.
leave your legacy of the way you do your work in a blend of no, because we talked about it. It's a blend of design and astrology, and it's beautiful because not many people have blending that together. And I think one-on-one, if you could teach somebody like to like have few one-on-ones and mentorships in that way, and they can take over. I think that's the way you should go. I think that's where,
Yeah,
yeah,
well, that's what I've
I
been
love it.
doing because I do mentor, not mentor. I don't like that word, but I help people with their branding
Hmm.
101. Natal chart, and we see how they can shine easily with this kind of like small recipe I'm giving you. But
Yeah,
I mean, there
yeah,
are
yeah.
more layers. So we first identify the vocation, then we identify leadership styles and different kind of things that they can do easily. The thing here is that you enjoy it, that you're gonna find yourself happy every day. Of course, there will be Saturnian
Mhm.
things like doing the accounting, which I hate, really. But we need to do it. That's Saturn, and it's like okay, we need to
Yes.
overcome the fear of being in the spotlight, for example, for me.
And
So this
yeah,
is how it
and just to
works. Yeah.
mention that for people, it's not just for you who have your own businesses. This is also for if you're working for other people as well. You can also be a leader in your position or whatever you do. Even if you're not a manager, you can be like a if you're enjoying what you're doing. That's what I get from you. Whatever you're doing, you can be a leader of your life in a vocational way, right? Like you can feel like you are owning it. Um, Excellent.
Exactly.
Mhm.
For example, do you have any planet close to the MC? Just maybe
No,
we can
no.
make an
I have
example.
Jupiter is the
No,
closest, but it's like 12 degrees away, so it's not on the mid. Yeah,
12 degrees. Yeah.
but it's Jupiter, just
Um.
like
So yeah, with yeah, yeah, or and we can go from teaching to also travel agent, education, flight attendant,
you.
explorer, captain, pilot. There are many ways to look at it.
Yes.
But just to answer
Yeah.
Priscilla's questions, it would be like taking a little bit of the energy of that
Mm.
planet next to your MC and integrating, because this planet will help you shine easily, or you have those talents related
Isn't
to
it
that planet,
interesting? So I'll tell you
maybe.
this now, my story. So because my Jupiter is in Cancer, and I wanted to be a tour guide, history, because I wanted to do that because I really that was one of my things I wanted to
Wow.
do. But then Gemini, but then when I was a little bit mature, I wanted to actually study hotel management, which would be so good to work in a hotel. But I just university was out of town. My parents couldn't afford the tuition and to study away from home, so I didn't do it. But those are my things, and I also wanted to be a radio host. Anyway, those are,
Oh, maybe all these things are, yeah.
those are my childhood things that I really enjoyed. Anyway, so it's good to think about it when
Yeah.
you think about vocation. What did you want to do when you were a kid, right? I feel that that's something that can give you input.
It actually, yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that because we forget it, as you said, with the social pressure or your parents' pressure, or whatever it is. But I remember three things I wanted to be. One was astronaut.
Mhm.
I wanted to
Yeah,
be an
Midheaven in Aquarius, yes, with Jupiter exploring the
yeah, and then
space,
I'm like
literally,
exploring
literally.
the space, right? But then I saw the amount of like math and then I found out there are aliens because my dad used to watch aliens move. I was like, oh hell no, I don't want to be an astronaut
Oh, yes.
anymore, right? So then I switched, like I want to be an astronomer. This is why I'm in the NASA and I don't have to be out in space. But when I saw the amount of mathematics and numbers and physics, I was
But you
like,
would be
no.
a good one, though.
So
You,
then I
you maybe
won.
you would be a good one. Anyway, yeah, go ahead.
But then when I was 18, I wanted to be a
Okay, that's also.
psychologist. So, Saturn in Scorpio and this kind of things, like, okay, wait, I also like this thing. And in the end, I did none. So I became a.
I didn't want to be an accountant. Trust me. That was never on my list. It was just my mother was an accountant, and it was convenient to just enroll a business school and decide, and then just start working with my mom at the time, and you know. I mean, I was okay with it. I was good with it,
but
and so, but I never liked it, to be honest. And
But it's interesting in your case because you were expressing more the
Yeah.
Virgo rising energy, maybe because you were told you were good at it, or you,
Yeah.
whatever, you got good grades in accounting or something. And this is the magic of
Mm,
vocational astrology. It's like, okay, I haven't, it's not that I'm not doing my midheaven. I've been expressing a
mm,
part of my chart, but I'm lacking this and these
mm,
areas. Maybe you're not expressing the ruler of your
mm,
MC. So this is the magic of vocation. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. Actually, I realized I didn't become an astronaut, but then I'm an astrologer student, so and in through time I realized all my jobs have been very Aquarian. I was in the United Nations, I was in Africa helping the poor people, and then in Mexico. And so in the end you realize, oh, wait a minute, actually,
mm,
I've been doing a little bit of that, but maybe I'm missing the Saturn part, or the ruler of the
mm,
midheaven, or the ruler of the ascendant, or the planet next to it. And the idea here also, when we're doing the branding
mm,
for astrologers, is to actually, if you have been missing a part of your chart that is related to career or vocation, we need to integrate that in your branding, how you express
mm.
yourself and your branding. So I think the magic of vocational astrology also, because it saved me. I was fired from my last job, which was in high tech, which is Aquarius again. And I was like, my God, what am I going to do? I live in Israel. I don't speak the
Oh, yeah.
language. Uh, and then I went to a reading, and the astrologer was like, oh, you can do this. And I'm like, oh, wait, I actually do have those talents, but how am I going to express
Mm.
them? So it started giving me hints about, okay, this is what I could be doing. It doesn't mean you're
Yeah,
just
yeah,
born
that's
for one
right.
thing, because
That's completely right.
you are a very good accountant and a very good astrologer and communicator.
Mm,
So it's just finding and trying different things, and then see if you connect, how you connect to all those
mm.
things in a way that makes you have like this, like happy life in a
Yeah.
way, just to put
But
it
I
in
did many,
some terms.
as a midheaven in Gemini, I did many, many different things. I had my own business as well with my friend. We were designing kitchens and furnitures. Again, Venus and Jupiter in Cancer.
Wow.
So
Yes,
I had
exactly.
I did a
Yeah,
like a
that's nice.
child's recipe book for kids. So for with my
That's the North Node in Leo you were talking
no, no, not
about.
only Leo,
North Node in
I
Leo,
Saturn and Mars in
Libra.
Leo.
Saturn and
Yeah.
Mars in Leo. Yeah,
So
it's interesting. So yeah, Gemini is
so I
multifaceted,
did some
They can go.
telemarketing, this and that, and I was, like
Mhm.
all these jobs during my life, like anyway. So, but it was interesting to do all of them, yeah. And I don't know, even with astrology, what I like, I can do so many different things, right? There's this type of astrology, that type. I can, my Gemini is so happy, and you're
Yeah.
never going to learn everything. There's always something, another layer to learn, which I also love. So that's it. That's definitely my passion, because it's going to make me happy until I live, because it's always something new. Every day is a new chart, right? So there's a reason that. So,
Exactly.
oh, I love that. I just quickly, for
Yeah.
people who feel stuck. Okay, so I want to be practical. My Virgo is kind
Hmm.
of want something. So if you feel stuck and they don't know where, just like you lost your job and you were lost. So feeling lost or stuck, what would you recommend them? Even working for themselves or working for somebody else, what would be the first step? I know, to hire you for consultation, that would be the first step. But in general, even to come to that decision, what would you maybe suggest to them? Where to look, where to find, what to think about, before they make the step forward to feel.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good question. Well, if you're looking at your chart will be a nice thing if you
Yeah,
know astrology, but if not, I think I had to learn it the hard way. I always ignored
yeah.
my intuition. I always did, and then I realized that when I listen to my intuition, it is the
Mm,
right way to go. So I think connecting with your intuition. I know some signs can be more mental or more like logical or rational, which is a little bit my case. But I think it's important to learn to listen to your intuition, because the answers are there inside and not outside. Because, for example, maybe you will tell me, maybe a Libra rising will always be asking people, "What do you think if I do this or that?
mm,
Should I that?" And they end up more confused. So they need to come back and express the opposite sign, which is Aries, and be more
mm.
assertive with themselves and say, well, in the beginning, this is what I wanted. But I went and asked a million people and I just ended up confused. But in the
Yes,
end,
I can agree. Like with my Virgo rising,
um,
I like to have control, like of
Virgo
yeah, but
rising, sorry.
of
Yeah,
everything that's
control.
happening, but sometimes I just need to let it go and just let it be, let it go, and just see what happens. Have faith in what I'm doing is going to be okay. And it's hard for Virgo, right? Like, but
Yes.
I like it, and I like that because now we have North Node in Pisces. Collectively, we should all listen to our intuition more and be in that sense,
Actually,
right?
yes. This is the what the sky is telling us. I have the moon in Virgo,
Yes.
so my way, in order to find happiness, I need to learn structure and control and perfection and all these things. And now I need to learn how to flow and just trust the universe. I mean, there's a reason why I ended
Mhm.
up doing a 2 week trip and not a 5 day trip. I don't
I
know.
love it.
I really don't
I
know.
love that.
But
I love it. Yeah, but you're also combining
I
business
mean,
with pleasure a little bit, and it's nice, right? So then you can do both, right? So that's
yeah.
beautiful. Oh, I love.
And yes, I also think, I mean, for those out there, I don't think there is a
Uh-huh.
perfect
Okay.
job. I mean, that's important to
Mm,
understand that also don't wait for the opportunities. You need to create your
mm,
opportunities, especially now with Saturn and Neptune in Aries. It's about creating your own opportunities and just trusting your intuition and maybe your instinct for some signs, maybe. And yeah, and just go for it. I think this
mm.
is a way to start, because we keep trying to find answers with the
Yeah,
astrologer,
yeah,
with the
yeah, yeah,
tarot
yeah.
reading, with the this, which okay, great. If we can
But it's
help,
only
that's great. But
guidance. Yeah, that's
in
only
the end,
guidance. I always tell clients,
exactly,
it's I'm just guiding you and it may be explaining you, translating you the language of stars that you don't understand, but it's your decision at the end. I can't give you an advice, tell you, oh, this is the way
claro.
to do it because I'm not you, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna
Yes.
decide for you because many people,
Yeah.
especially for vocation, they come like, "But what should I do as if I will, build them a portfolio?" And I'm like, these are the options that come easier to you, but like, what makes you happy? I am not you. I don't
Yes.
go into your head,
Yes.
and
But you can help. I know,
so it's
but you can
important
help
to
with
make that.
colors, with branding. I love that how you do that. You can give them practical things that can, how to present themselves because of the chart they have, how to put it out there so people so they feel seen more easily. So that's the practical way. That's when you come very handy with helping people with practical things. So and some people are just lost. Where do I start? Like me, like I'm all over the place. I'm so scared. Where do I start? Oh, I want to do this, and so just to frame it, I said, okay, let's do this first, and then this. Somebody just maybe sometimes need to kind of a little bit of Saturn to tell you the steps, or a little bit of Virgo, because your Virgo moon is very good at giving people steps
Yeah.
and how to do things. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that is true. That is true. Like Frank
Because
Clifford has a moon in Virgo, and the way he teaches,
also, yeah, it's very
the way he
analytical
teaches it.
and yeah,
Anyway, oh, so Priscilla is asking us,
that's true.
where our sun? So I have sun in Gemini. I have everything in Gemini. Sun, Moon, Mercury, Midheaven. That's Gemini. That's me.
Wow.
And your sun
Yeah,
is
my
in
son is in
Aquarius. So there
Aquarius.
you go. So you're Aquarius. So
Yeah.
we are.
So that yeah, in the end, Gemini and Aquarius are air signs. So we like talking, connecting,
So, off the
socializing,
topic, but I
and
think maybe it's just because we mentioned this now. Do you think this upcoming Uranus in Gemini trining Pluto in Aquarius, how will this affect this Aquarius Gemini people as us? What do you feel? Are you excited?
oh my God, I think I'm excited, but because Aquarius is a
Mm,
fixed sign, maybe it will be a little bit harder for me than for you because we like we are a little bit
mm,
attached to certain ideas maybe, and with Uranus it will break that, and maybe it will show you a million other options, for example. And I also think it's here to empower us
mm.
in a way, in a mental way, but we need to be tuning into our
Yeah,
psychology with Pluto, because if we remain doing the same thing over and over wishing a different outcome, there is no way
yeah.
it's going to happen. So I think it's inviting us to be very open-minded and very innovative. And I think Gemini people will have lots of like downloads or something that will connect the pattern.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
coming
this is
soon for
it.
me. I have Moon Mercury conjunctions 1 minute apart. So I have three conjunctions
What?
in my chart. So it's 2 degrees and 15 minutes. So it's gonna not really this year, but next year when Uranus comes. Watch this space, guys. If I don't explode by then. Kidding. Uh, okay, another
Yeah.
question, and then I'll let you go. Because you're into technology, and many people are now vocation wise. Okay, that's why I think everybody
Hmm.
who is thinking about the future needs to have you as a consultant. Why? Because no, but listen, guys,
Oh,
this is important. AI is coming, right? So many people are afraid of losing their jobs or whatever. Um, so I want your opinion. I always say, every evolution through history changed vocations, right? When the machines came, people were scared.
yeah.
We adopted. When the TV came, we were scared. When the internet came, we were scared. We adopted. We're going to adopt to this AI. What would you maybe suggest to people in general? Your opinion on AI and what new vocations maybe you see for people that will bring with the rise of AI.
Well, yeah, you're right. With Uranus in Gemini, it will, it will be definitely a rush, like a sugar rush of AI. It already started back in 2023 with Saturn in
Yeah.
Pisces, I think, and Pluto in Aquarius. Now it will be like exponentially very fast, and the world will start moving even faster. So people are worried about it, because I'm also worried, because now you can ask ChatGPT questions, and then I'm like, oh, like I'm gonna lose my job. My husband is a web
Yeah,
developer,
mine
and
too.
AI is
Yeah, mine
coding
too.
for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Right, exactly. So I'm like, oh, you're gonna lose your job. And he's like, no, I don't think so. Let me just
Mm-hmm.
explain why. We are seeing now more people hiring people like you and
Mm-hmm.
me, for example, or your husband, because they don't have time to learn the AI. They are so busy with other things, or with their families or whatever. So we are already seeing new jobs in the sense of like, okay, I need someone to help me with Canva, or to help me with my cousin is like, I'm trying to help her with a podcast because she doesn't have time to learn the whole thing. So just giving them like very quick steps. I don't think we will lose our jobs. I think it will start moving so fast that people will start helping each
Yeah, yeah,
other,
yeah. Especially
for
like
example.
older generation. Like I have to say it, but like, for example, my dad, when he started school, he was still doing the fountain, like the ink, with the
Imagine.
ink, and now he has a smartphone. Like
Wow.
from grade one to now he's 77. He has a smartphone. So
Yeah.
all these older generations, they don't know how it's so fast. So like I think new vocations will come
Yeah.
up with consultancy, with technology consultants, or helping people with the new tools that we are having online. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. There are
Mhm,
people like experts now. I see because sometimes I need like someone that knows Canva to
mhm.
like to the best, and I hire them to help me because I cannot deliver everything I promise. So they are coming these like kind of teenagers, kind of like guys that they know already how to move things
Yeah.
around and stuff, and I pay them. So why not? So I think nothing will disappear if you are starting your digital business
Mhm.
like Jasmina or myself. You need to take it like step by step. Don't freak out because, oh my god, I need to learn YouTube and
Yeah.
Instagram and all this social media. I would have just advise them, take one platform
Mm.
that you like and focus with that platform, and then you start slowly opening others and learning other platforms. Don't make the mistake of
Yeah.
starting with the
Yeah.
TikTok, Instagram,
That's
Facebook,
right.
because you will
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
go
I took
crazy.
Instagram and then YouTube after
So
that. That's it. I never went on the TikTok. Everybody said, "Yo, astrology on TikTok is so popular." I said, "I can't do it. I just can't. I'm
you
gonna go
can't.
crazy. I need to have mental health, So um,
Exactly, and I think you're doing the right
mhm.
thing, because anxiety is at the highest with people right now, because of all these, like, okay, I need to do this post, this
Mhm.
reel, that thing. So whatever works for you, and you need to honor that. I think because people, we're seeing so much in the technology. Oh, 5 tips to gain followers. Five, you must do
Mhm.
this in order to shine. I honestly say, I'm not gonna say it's BS because maybe it's useful, but whatever works for you and makes you feel happy in your routine, this is what you need to be doing. If it's YouTube,
Mhm.
like it's our case, because people also ask me, why are you not on TikTok? TikTok gives me
Yeah, yeah,
anxiety.
that's it.
So
Yeah, and that's
yeah,
Virgo.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
stick to
Not
what,
for Virgos. It
yeah.
is for Gemini maybe, but I still my Virgo rising is the only Earth I have in my chart. I have nothing in Earth except my rising sign. So I think that's so much pressure. That's why it's so highlighted. That's why my anxiety. I totally agree with TikTok. It's just even Instagram can be so uh, limited.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so whatever works for you, this is important. Obviously there are gonna be signs that, like, I'm an Aquarius, I have Mercury, Jupiter, Sun in Aquarius, but I also have things in Scorpio. So yes, I like to be in the spotlight, but not too often. So I prefer
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
101, sitting with people. So this is why vocational astrology is so
It's
useful.
very good,
And
very useful. Yeah.
instead of like, finding answers outside, you just take a look inside, and that's a good starting point, I would
Excellent.
say.
Oh, thank you so much for this. So
Yeah.
much useful information. There's so much. Oh, before we finish, please tell everybody what you have going right now and where can they find you, please.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Yasmina. So you can find me in astrocreativa.com. I'm from Mexico, so it's in Spanish, but I already translated in English. So you just need to be patient. But basically, I'm there. I am doing branding for astrologers, but I also do readings like vocational or business readings. I'm going to teach a course in Spanish now about how to work with your fears, because people come for the branding and the website, and I can build beautiful websites and beautiful branding. But if you haven't worked on your fears and your chironic issues and your blockages, it doesn't matter if I put in the best website, but you will be afraid of the time. So you need to work on yourself before you build your branding and even your website, no? Because I see this problem over and over. I build a website and Mara, but it's not working. It's like, but how are you feeling? No, I'm afraid of going out
Mhm,
there and sell things and my services. So I think it's necessary to understand Chiron, Saturn,
mhm,
Venus, the South Node, and in the 12th house, which is also related
mhm,
to some hidden fears. And we're going to work with it from a vocational perspective. We're starting in 10 days. It's in Spanish, but maybe in the future
mhm.
I will be giving some courses and workshops in English also. But I'm there. I love to work 101 and to build everything from scratch with vocational astrology and digital design in
Yeah, beautiful.
astrocreativa.com.
Yeah, all the links are below in the description. Please check it out. It's excellent, and you can see other astrologers praise Myra, which for a reason. And yes, that's no. You're
Thank you.
really really
Yes.
good. She also did the thumbnail for this, so thank you for doing that as well. I need to shout out for you for doing that. It was beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks again. This was
Thanks.
wonderful. I hope we're gonna chat soon about something else, and I'm looking forward to the English courses so I can take them as well. And I understand the fears because I have,
Thank you.
I also didn't know how to put price on my services. I really struggled.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I mean,
yeah,
everyone, but I also like to keep the groups very small. Like, I don't do 30 students, I do like
yeah.
10, 12, because I like to know you and your chart and connect
Yes,
with you and see
that's
how
me
we
as
can
well. Yeah,
fix
yeah, yeah,
things,
yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of big groups, also. Just wanted to say that.
That's the best approach of
Yeah.
learning is through your own chart
Mhm.
and through your own example. So thank you very much for that. So kind. You're such a beautiful soul. I'm so happy that we met.
Just
It
likewise.
was a weird circumstance, to be honest.
It was
But
very, yeah, very like, oh
yeah,
wait, who is this lady? I mean, and it's like, oh, she's interviewed Steve, and she's also with my
yeah, yeah.
other
No,
teacher. Like, okay, who
Myra
is
was one
this?
of my assignments with Astro Victor's teaching. So so that's how I'm interviewing my assignment. That's what literally.
No, but she gave me like you gave me really good input. I was like, oh my god, this is very practical, very to the point. I like this answer, and I
Oh,
sent
thank you.
Jasmina like, oh, thank you for your. And then I was like, wait a minute, aren't you the girl who interviewed Steve Jobs? Because I've seen you.
It was such an unusual,
So,
very very
but this,
Uranian Mira, which is
yeah,
Aquarius,
yeah.
and this Gemini Uranus coming up. Very funny.
That's the beauty of
Yeah,
astrology. It brings
very
people
much.
together, and
Yes, I love
yeah.
it.
So, thanks for
No, it
inviting
was.
me, and it's been a pleasure. And hopefully, we'll repeat. Now you come
Yeah,
to
of
my
course.
channel.
I can only say hola.
Uh,
Oh, I know. Do you know what I know in Spanish? Because back in Croatia, when I grew up, we had this Spanish soap opera. So I know all this. Lárgate, lárgate, hijo. I know all this. I know just those like, te quiero, te quiero mucho. Just
the
those soap
phrases.
opera lines from.
Yeah.
That's my Spanish knowledge.
No, but we'll do it in English. Don't worry. We'll do it. I also have some videos in
Yeah.
English because I want people to hear, these brilliant English
Yeah.
astrologers as well.
I
So
love it.
yeah, for
Thank you.
sure.
Excellent.
So
Well,
yeah.
happy weekend, everybody. See, this is what Priscilla says. Love this live during the rainy and Scorpio full moon. Yes, that passed. Yes, I love it. Thank you. Thank you for being here, everybody. If you have any, of course, like, share, subscribe to both channels. And if you
Yeah.
have any comments or concerns, inputs, please let us know in the comments. Thank you very much. See you later. Bye bye.
Thank you, Yasmin.